It is jingle bells, jingles all the way. It is that time of the year where Christmas fever is upon us, and it's a time where we give thanks to the Lord God for keeping us safe throughout the year.
Indeed, and I've also seen Christmas lights all across the city and even in my house, Leah.
You have Christmas lights in your house?
We have Christmas lights. The tree is already up.
Wow, looks like I'm left behind. Nothing is lit yet. I think I still have 5 more days.
Or you have about, somewhere there about. This time next week, it will be Christmas Eve.
And there you have it. We're live here at the Hill in Pocket Hill Highlands, Harare, the capital city. I am Liam Bernard Peaceway Jomunyika, interpreting the bulletin in sign language.
My name is Joyce Mabika, and of course from our Montrose studios, we'll be joined by Marilyn Gwenya to give us news from that end. We start off with our leading stories tonight.
Stories to look forward to tonight's edition. The first phase of lithium processing plant in Goromonzi now complete.
In I'm in African tonight, Grasa Machel celebrated for championing the rights of women and children on the African continent.
Much later in Sports Bars, the Lady Chevrons clinched the continental crown after beating Uganda by 6 wickets in the 2024 T20 World Cup Africa qualifiers. I'm not really going to touch on what the boys did today. We'll leave that for Sports Buzz coming up. But first, we begin with the main news. In our leading story tonight, the establishment of a lithium processing plant in Goromonzi owned by Shenzhen Investment is progressing well, with the first phase having been completed. Our first report.
Equipment for the first phase worth 15 million United States dollars has already been installed and will have a capacity to process 1,000 tons of ore per day. The second phase will have a processing capacity of 1,500 tons per day.
Currently, we finished phase 1 of the lithium plant construction, which is that process 1,000 tons per day, which is the one that you see behind me here. We have engaged other companies, mining companies, on the supply of lithium because here we are not mining. We are only focusing on the processing.
The local community continue to immensely benefit from the establishment of the lithium plant.
I joined this organization as a blaster, and as you can see, this big plant, I've managed to blast all these plants, so I really want to thank, and I'm getting a lot of experience.
And I achieve, in fact, my weldings, that's a tambo sheet, as soon as I find this also, as it goes,
Local women are also benefiting from the establishment of the lithium plant, as they have been contracted to supply food to workers at the plant.
Kutibatsiro takaona mabasa emaoko turikubikirawo vashandi tichivapawo chikafu zvakanaka.
Takange tisino pekuchemera kana pekuita sei, saka tavakadzi vanhasiwo takuona kuti
the company has committed to invest 30 million United States dollars within its first 2 years of operation, a development set to boost processing of lithium. The plant is the second biggest lithium investment in Goromonzi district after the commissioning of Prospect Lithium Zimbabwe this year. Gerald Sasa, ZBC News, Goromonzi.
The Bulawayo Irrigation Scheme, which is a joint venture between the Binga local community and the Agriculture and Rural Development Authority, ADA, is expected to start operations this week after intervention by government.
Located in Binga, Matabeleland North Province, the Bulawayo Irrigation Scheme covers 15,000 hectares, and once complete, the project will be Matabeleland North's biggest irrigation scheme. After 2 decades of lying dormant, the Bulawayo Irrigation Scheme is, according to Wange District Development Coordinator, Mr. Land Kabome, expected to start planting crops this week using a phased approach.
The state of progress, I can say, is really 90% in terms of connectivities, and we are on the right direction. Thanks to the Second Republic, as you can see, this scheme we started 23 years ago. So now, by the coming of the Second Republic, we have made milestones, and as such, we have already actually started cultivating, and as soon as the water come this week, we are starting planting.
The local people were also co-owners of the scheme, represented by their chairperson, Mr. Titus Mukuli, are eager to reap the rewards after years of anticipation.
Kukuti twazouza tuzobhadharire vana school fees po akuti kama machembere tura over think machembere vale 57 vanakazi tuva alumni turi 30 something kukuti matrition ndo kwambula government kamba vanakazi mbevajika so kuti irrigation yavakabotu kukuti avana vanini malnutrition ino yavaraidzi.
Speaking during a visit to the irrigation scheme, the Food and Nutrition Council Board Chairperson, Dr. Ngaite Ngomo Mgeni, commended the team working on the project, saying once complete, the scheme will ensure food security in the province as well as feeding into the country's vision of ending malnutrition.
What I have seen and the team that is on the ground, they are really working hard to resuscitate this project. And I'm very, very sure that within the next 2 years, this project will be a model.
The reactivation of the Bulawayo Crow irrigation scheme is expected to benefit hundreds of small-scale farmers in the area and create employment opportunities for the local community. It is also anticipated to increase the supply of fresh produce to local markets, signaling a positive step towards bolstering agricultural production in Zimbabwe. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Binga.
Farmers who received inputs under the Intwasa program in Manicaland province have expressed optimism of a successful agricultural season following the localized wet spell being experienced this week. Kenya's Shivuje filed that report.
The current localized wet spell being experienced in most parts of Manicaland has renewed the farmers' hopes that rains can sustain crop germination, while some of the farmers who planted their fields early are excited that their crops have been saved from the prolonged dry spell. Farmers in Mtasa, Mtare, Chipinge and Chimanimani districts, among other areas, who received inputs under the Pfumvuza Intwasa program are taking advantage of the local wet spell.
Pamba yega yega vaipa vanhu 3 takapiwa ma 10 kg 10 kg takapiwa na 30 kg dzembeu ne 150 kg dzedi ne 150 kg dzetop. Saka kubva ipapo takasozvipiwa ndofunga end of October, asi mvura ndiyanga yakatimisa kuti tinge tichitangisa.
Ndo patakatanga kwanisa kuwana mvura pamazuva mairi apfuura. Izvo zvinhasi razuva rechitatu.
Chakatimisa inyaya yekuti mvura yakanga isiri kunaya zvakanaka. Yanga ichingoita zvekufunha asi izvozvi mwando chaiwo wazara.
Aiwa tirutenda chaizvo president. Chokwadi maimputi takavhire kupiwa.
Nothing will stop the people of Chiware in Makoni West constituents from taking to the fields following 3 days of moderate rains, with the local community also happy with the developmental works being spearheaded by the ruling party and government in their area.
My inputs akauya zvakanaka nenguva yakakodzera mvura ichibva yanayawo.
Ndiri kuzwa kunyanya kufara zvizhinji MP vachitirangarira kusvika pakutigadzirawo maprojekti akaita senguruve ndofunga murungoonawo panapo.
Zvakare honorable Muswere taona zvakakodzera kuti tivaitire mabiko ekuvakorekotedza. Wane mabhohos avakadhiririsa emvura zvokuti vanhu vazhinji vakumwa mvura yakachena. Zvakare wakaunza macomputers muzvikoro.
Extension workers and local leaders are urging farmers in places where rainfall has been received in moderate quantities to take advantage of the wet spell to plant their crops.
Semurimi tiri kurudzira varimi vekuno kuti varime mbeu dzemwaka mupfupi zvakaita senyemba uye chibage chatakapuwa chepresidential inputs takapuwa chibage chemwaka mupfupi.
Zvese zvakakasika kuuya munhu ega ega mamake anayo mbeu anayo fertilizer kangomira kurima.
Meanwhile, the Pfumvuza Intwasa program is this year supporting production of maize, sorghum, pearl millet, soya beans, sunflower, groundnuts, vegetables and cowpeas. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Mutare.
The church has commended Zimbabweans for ensuring a peaceful and credible election, citing that the result is an endorsement of a leader with a vision for development.
During the course of the week, the church and the national political leadership converged at State House for a national day of prayer, the first after the nation successfully conducted its general elections in August this year. Zimbabwe Indigenous Interdenominational Council of Churches spokesperson Reverend Andrew Taunasha said the elections passed the credibility test with the country poised for development.
As the church again, that we reiterate that we are thankful that God gave us, in answer to prayer, free, fair, transparent elections which have returned you to power, and we thank God that the work He started through you, through the Second Republic, can now continue. And we see this as a stamp of God, that it has pleased Him that you continue the Joseph leadership that God has given you in the nation.
While applauding the Second Republic for championing peace, other church leaders said it is their duty to intercede for national leaders.
We come here today in faith, believing that God is a rewarder of a nation that diligently seek Him. And we thank Him for putting this upon the heart of our leader, to call us as the leaders of the church to pray together.
Petition, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all those in authority, that we may live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness.
Kuwana utungamiri hunesa Mwari pamberi. Taikuteererai, Your Excellency, pa every provincial star rally yamaita. Tinoona kuti mune moyo munyoro, mune moyo murefu.
The church has been at the forefront of preaching peace during and after elections, while working with the government in championing development projects which include the construction of schools and hospitals, among others. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
Roman Catholic Church members converged at Regina Mundi High School for the Silver Jubilee celebrations of Reverend Bishop Rudolph Nyandoro of the Gweru Diocese, whose episcopal journey in the church has been described as exemplary.
Born in 1968, Reverend Bishop Rudolph Nyandoro has dedicated most of his life to Christ, as his education journey is rooted in the Roman Catholic Church belief systems, which saw him enrolling for minor seminary at Chikwingwisha in 1986. A holder of a Doctor of Philosophy degree in pastoral therapy, Bishop Nyandoro began his episcopal journey in 2017 when he was ordained Bishop of Gokwe before he was appointed Bishop of Gweru in 2020. To celebrate the bishop's milestones in the church was the Roman Catholic Church members, including Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga and his wife. A colleague, Bishop Raymond Mpandasekwa, gave a testimonial on the life of Bishop Nyandoro.
Nasi tinovapemberera semunhu akauya kuna Mwari mushure mekudaidzwa. Ana kungouya kuzogara nekuongorora zviri kuda kuitwa naMwari, agozviita zvisina moyo wose, agongozviita half-heartedly.
Vice President Chiwenga, who donated 200,000 bricks towards the construction of a pastoral center at the function, says government is indebted to the good works by the Roman Catholic Church.
As the government, we thank Sekuru Nyandoro for the visionary spiritual leadership. Recently, I was in Driefontein witnessing a massive agricultural project which the Catholic Church embarked on. In the process, complementing government's efforts to eradicate food insecurity in Zimbabwe. Such programs need to be applauded and supported as they are key to in the development of the Midlands province and Zimbabwe at large.
The Silver Jubilee celebrations for Reverend Bishop Radolf Nyandoro witnessed several congregates contributing toward the construction of the pastoral center in Chinhoyi. Tafara Chikomera, ZBC News, Gweru.
The elderly in Mbare had an early Christmas after the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, handed over some food hampers when she attended a church service at the Methodist Church in Zimbabwe, Mbare Circuit, this Sunday.
It was a Sunday with a difference for members of the Methodist Church in Zimbabwe, Mbare Circuit, after the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, joined them in worship. A staunch member of the Methodist Church in Zimbabwe, Dr. Mnangagwa humbly took part in the church routines, which include singing of hymns and songs of praise and worship, praying and dancing. Driven by a motherly instinct, Amai Mnangagwa put smiles on the faces of the elderly when she surprised them with food hampers comprising cooking oil, rice, sugar, flour and salt as an early Christmas gift. The mother of the nation also had the opportunity to address congregants.
Kana ndakamira pano ndiri mumwe wekuchechi wenyu. Hazvina musiyano pakati pangu nemi. Ndinoramba ndiri munhukadzi, ndiri amai, ndichiita zvinoitwa nanamai mumhuri dzavo munyika yavo. Ndauya kuti mundiperekedzewo pazvichemo zvandichapira kuna Mwari ndindozviziva zviri pamwoyo pangu. Asi imi mondiperekedzawo pazvichemo zvandichachema kuna Mwari nokuti ino ndio imba yaMwari yatinotura zvose. Ndio imba yaMwari yatinokumbira kuti Mwari vatibatsire. Ndio imba yatinozviisawo kutadza kwedu kuti Mwari vatiregerere.
Harare East Bishop commended the First Lady for her community development initiatives. He further applauded her for being a selfless, meek and prayerful mother.
Toda kutenda Mwari nhasi kuti we had the chance kunamata pamwechete vasingasarudze vanoda munhu wese vanonamata makereke ose asi chinonyanyotikoshera is Methodist. She is one of us pamwechete nababa, so tinotenda kwazvo nokuti havana kungouya vakanyarara, vane zvavaitirawo vakwegura vekwedu kurangarira nyaya dzetsika neunhu dzavanoramba vachikurudzira. Tinotenda Mwari and we continue to pray kuti Mwari vavaitire zvakanaka, vavatungamirire nhasi nokusingaperi.
A Superintendent Mbare Circuit, Reverend Lonely Panavanu, who preached the gospel of thanksgiving, hailed the mother of the nation for her humility.
Tiri kutenda nekufara kushanyirwa namai uye kuti vauya senhengo yechechi kuzopinda uchechi. Uye toda kutenda kunyanga nezvipo zvapiwa vatana vedu, Mwari ngavazovaropafadza nenyika iropafadzwe.
The church choir kept the service alive, and 13-year-old Kudakwashe Chitsitsi exhibited great talent on the drum, which left the mother of the nation awestruck. To her unmatched humility, Amai Mnangagwa knelt before the church bishops and humbly asked them to pray for her. Upon receiving food hampers, beneficiaries applauded the First Lady for taking care of the underprivileged in line with the biblical statutes.
Mbare nenge chingotarisirwa pasi asi mazvideredza mukauya pano Mwari vakuitire zvakanaka.
Toda kutenda nhasi tanzwa kufara tapinda namai vedu mai Mnangagwa tanzwa kudzirwa pachechi yedu yevavambi society Mbare Circuit. Mama vanga vachitamba vatigashira nemufaro sevana vavo vakasiya vatipa mahampa. Tinongoda kuzvitenda nekuti hazviitwe nevazhinji, havasarudze vanoda vana vavo vese. Damai vedu venyika mai vazvideredza vakazvisa pasi pedu.
Tinonzwa kufara nezuva rakaita sera nhasi. Tati Thanksgiving yedu end of the year 2023 tabva tashanyirwa namai. which is a rare opportunity yekuti vanozvideredza vachiuya kunzvimbo yakazvidzika sembari. Sai tinobva tanzwa kusimudzirwa tichivaona vachiuya kunoku. Tanzwa kudziirwa tichinamata navo, tichitamba navo, tichiimba, ndaona vachisumuka vachiimba. Zvinhu zvinotifadza.
Taona rudo rwaamai, tikaona ushingi hwavo nokutungamiriri hwavo saamai kuupenyu hwedu. Tadzidzawo kuti amai munhu akasungunuka zvikuru nokungouya kuzofellowshipa nesu. Vamwe they are proud of themselves, havakwanise kuyazobata nevamwe vana, but amai taona kubata kwavo takuvatenda kunyange nezvipo zvavatigamuchidza. Tiri kuti dai Mwari werugare vazovaropafadza, vapedzere pavabvisa makore ekurarama, varambe vachiitira vanhu vose mukati menyika ino.
A prayerful and selfless mother, Dr. Mnangagwa has worshipped at several churches and led various prayer sessions for different causes, including peace, COVID-19, rains, and an end to ritual killings, among others. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
Wow, what a joyous day it was there. The First Lady's philanthropic works continue to shine as she gives back to community. From the capital, it's now time for us to cross over to our Montrose studio where Marilyn Gwenye is on standby to take us on. Marilyn, good evening. It's over to you.
Joyce, so we continue Sunday edition with a report from Lisa Masugu, where the nomination court will sit this Monday to receive papers from prospective candidates for the February 3 by-elections after the recall of some Citizens Coalition for Change legislators.
I am at the venue for the nomination court sitting, Bulawayo Trade Gold Court Building. This is where the nomination court will sit tomorrow to receive papers from aspiring candidates for the February 2024 by-elections.
The by-elections to be held on the 3rd of February have been necessitated by recalls of CCC legislators by the party's interim Secretary General Sengezo Chabang. The recalls last month resulted in 6 seats for members of the National Assembly falling vacant. The vacant National Assembly seats are in Pelanda Bachabalala, Koromonzi South, Seke, Chekutu West, Zwimba East, and Mkomba North constituencies. ZANU-PF won 7 out of 9 constituencies in the December 9 by-elections, taking the party's electable National Assembly seats to 144.
Those who will be successful in filing their papers tomorrow will partake in the February 2020
influential voice in the unity and
attending the African Union 10th high-level seminar on peace and security in Algeria's second largest city, Oran, voiced Zimbabwe's position on the United Nations Security Council.
Among the more than 70% of the conflicts of the UNSC agenda, the continent's African members must therefore have a more influential voice in the UN Security Council. And pushing for the pen holding on African issues in the UN Security Council will ensure that we take control and ownership of our issues.
Chairperson of the African Union Peace and Security Council, PSC, for the month of December 2023 and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Gambia, Honorable Dr. Mamadou Tangara, also called on the African Union Peace and Security Council and the United Nations to be decisive in responding to threats of peace and security on the African continent.
The Peace and Security Council of the African Union and the United Nations Security Council should be decisive in responding to threats to peace and security on the African continent. We continue to demand the membership of the United Nations Security Council to be just and fully representative of our aspirations in line with the consensus of the African Union.
The high-level seminar brings together the Peace and Security Council members, current and incoming 3 elected African states, the AU Commission, the UN and other partners to exchange views and share experiences to take stock of the achievements registered so far.
I Am an African feature is coming up next. women and children's rights advocate, former freedom fighter, and first education minister of Mozambique are some of the caps she has won with pride. In our I'm in African feature for tonight, we celebrate Gracia Machel, a champion for the rights of women and children on the African continent.
She has stood the test of time on the war front, academic and philanthropic space. Born on the 17th of October 1945 in Mozambique, Gracia Machel joined the Mozambican Liberation Front in 1973 as a school teacher. When Mozambique gained its independence in 1975, she became the country's first Minister of Education and Culture, making history as the only woman in the cabinet. Far from a marriage to the late Mozambican President Samora Machel that saw her become a mother of two, Gracia carved her own name and presence on the global arena. Between 1975 and 1989, she was responsible for overseeing an increase in primary school enrollment from 40% of children to over 90% of boys and 75% of girls. As chair of the National Organization of Children of Mozambique, she also worked closely with families to promote literacy and rehabilitate children affected by the country's long civil war.
15 years have now passed since I presented my report on children in armed conflict to the UN Secretary General. That report described the shocking levels of violence visited on the world's most vulnerable citizens, its children. It documented what I described as the unregulated terror inflicted on children.
Gracia has also served on the boards of numerous organizations working to prevent conflict and advance development, including the United Nations Foundation, the Forum of African Women Educationalists, the African Leadership Forum, the International Crisis Group, and served as Chancellor of the University of Cape Town for 20 years from 1999 to 2019. In recognition of her lifelong efforts to promote human rights, education and development, Machel has received the Laureate of Africa Prize for Leadership for the Sustainable End of Hunger, the Interpress Service International Achievement Award, the North-South Prize of the Council of Europe, and the Africa Distinguished Humanitarian Service Award, among others. The academic is also a recipient of an honorary Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire by Queen Elizabeth II for her humanitarian work. She will also go down in history books as the only woman to be the first lady of two countries through her marriages to the late presidents Samora Machel and Nelson Mandela. Gracia Machel remains an outspoken champion for Africa's successes and potential as she continues to tirelessly advocate for the rights of women and children on the African continent, as well as good governance and democracy.
And that's it for myself, Marilyn Gwenya, and the Montrose crew for tonight. Sunday edition is off to a break. We return with the team from Pocket Hill Studios in Harare.
I'm gonna tell you why my clothes look bright. I'm gonna tell you why my clothes look clean. Tell you why they smell so nice. I'm feeling fresh, you know what I mean. It's got a little bit of oxy bleach with a nice perfume that will leave your clothes looking rich and have you feeling good. Aloha, yeah. Aloha. You need to try Aloha.
Aloha washing powder. Say hello to fresh.
Enrollment in progress. Enroll now at Washington Hills Junior and Senior Schools. We are located 20 kilometers from the capital city of Harare along Bulawayo Road.
Here at Washington Hills Junior School, we have two curriculums, which are ZimSec and Cambridge, with our first Cambridge group writing next year. We also engage in different sports, which include volleyball, netball, swimming, and tennis. Join us here at Washington Hills Junior School and experience the best time of your life.
So just imagine an institution sited in a very salubrious environment where education is catered for adequately. That is what I'm saying, Washington Hills.
Don't forget, we offer boarding facilities for both primary and secondary levels. Hurry now for the limited spaces available.
The season of happiness is upon us at OK Stores. Get your Monty's baked beans 410 grams for only 90 cents. Pro Brands powdered milk 400 grams for only $3.25. Colgate dental cream 100 mils for 85 cents. Surf washing powder 2 kgs for only $4.10. 1 kg pocket of local carrots for only $2.50. Christmas is here. Kisimusi yashika. Ikisimusi isifikile. OK, my happy place.
Levels Production. Hello? Buddy? Why that groupie? Uripi? Inyanga? Uripi? Kariba? Oh, une boys. Uriku Victoria Falls. Ugre Zimbabwe. Chinoi girls. Macho Force. Itori Zimbabwe. Muzimbabwe. Irikunaka. Itori Zimbabwe.
This message is brought to you by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Zimbo. Every journey leads you home. Uripi. Ungapi.
Welcome back, and many thanks to the team at our Montrose studios. Bringing it back to Harare, we now give you a Sunbiz. Local authorities have been urged to promote ease of doing business in their jurisdiction to facilitate investment and economic growth as the country seeks an upper middle income society status by 2030.
With the country moving towards achieving an upper middle income society status by 2030, Matabeleland South Province gathered its business community, potential investors and the diaspora to exchange notes on the potential key drivers of the economy. Investors who attended the Matabeleland South Investment Forum at Blue Hills in Umzingwane this Saturday called on local authorities to facilitate development and investment in the districts.
We have issues with the district councils. When you try to formalize your business, they are telling you about 1951 laws.
It will change Philibisi, but again, problems with approvals, processes, development permits, and the list goes on.
With Matabeleland South being largely rural, local authorities have been experiencing difficulties in transferring communal land to urban for expansion.
There are certain processes, approval processes, where we have other authorities that are governing environmental affairs.
The investment forum has been held as a game changer in pursuit of a transformed provincial economy.
I have a strong belief that we are neglecting the sector which you say it is our strongest, that is the livestock sector. But it is my wish to see deliberate efforts from devolution by our local authorities, Minister, to support the local communal farmer.
The information that is there in our websites, both at the provincial level and maybe national level, doesn't have adequate, is not adequate enough.
Our role is to ensure that we position Zimbabwe as an investment-friendly destination.
Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion Minister Professor Mthuli Ncube says government is on a drive to incentivize rural industrialization investment.
I see a very strong participation from the diaspora, and they're investing in their rural areas. And there's something to be said about that. Where, as government, we have an incentive where if an investor invests in a rural area, especially in something that involves beneficiation, we can accord that project a special economic zone status, which means that in the first 5 years, they don't pay any taxes.
The Finance Minister also took the opportunity to give an update on the province's projects, which include Tulimanyanga Dam, the Gwanda-Mapisa Highway, and Bridge Victoria Falls Highway. The investment forum is running under the theme Unlocking Investment Opportunities Through Private Sector Initiatives for a Devolving Rainbow Province. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Umzingwane.
And now in our science and technology feature tonight, we unpack the net metering system. Zimbabwe's national renewable energy and biofuel policy, which seeks to promote optimal supply and utilization of energy for socio-economic development, is bearing fruit through the operationalization of the net metering and other initiatives. That report next.
In recent years, government has made strides in promoting use of renewable energy such as solar and biogas, among others. Efforts are now being made to ensure maximum benefits are derived from renewable energy through initiatives such as net metering.
Net metering is a mechanism, is a billing mechanism whereby if one has got a rooftop solar PV system, can actually generate excess energy during the day, which he can actually feed into the grid, thereby offsetting or reducing his or her bills. So that is made possible through what is called a grid interactive inverter. That is a grid tie inverter. An inverter that is capable of interacting with the grid, and also the smart meter or the bidirectional meter, which can actually export and import electricity from the grid.
Mudzingwa explains eligibility and benefits of net metering, highlighting that the system does not come with monetary benefits.
Depending with the amount of energy that the solar facility is generating, you can actually offset your electricity bill to zero in some instances. So that is a big advantage, because you would have zeroed your bill, your electricity bill. So this is why we're actually promoting net metering, because it provides more energy into the grid, and that also helps the utility to reduce their load shedding, not only load shedding but also daytime imports.
Those with solar systems with a capacity of more than 5 megawatts are excluded from net metering.
If your system is beyond 5 megawatts, you can actually apply for what is called independent power producer license, because it's now a business case. Yeah, normally those projects are considered to be utility scale projects and commercial projects where you actually want to have a power purchase agreement with the utility and sell and have an outright sale of the generated electricity to ZES.
Zimbabwe is exploring all possible ways to end the importation of electricity and become energy self-sufficient. Thus, the net metering system comes in to complement these efforts. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
The innovative world of science and technology. We're off to a break. We'll be back shortly with more news.
The meaning of life is not to simply exist, but to move ahead, to rise up and achieve, to conquer. Introducing Kung Fu Energy Drink, your push for the next conquests. Kung Fu Energy Drink. Master the power.
Christmas is here. Buy bulk and save this Christmas at OK Mart. Get your 6x2 liter Barley House syrups for only $13. Sunlight dishwashing liquid 25 by 750 ml for only $79.50. Sunlight washing powder 9 by 2 kgs $41.50. 2 Keys whiskey 12 by 750 ml for only $64. Potatoes 10 kgs for only $7.20. Christmas is here. Kisimusi yashika. Ikisimusi isifikile. OK Mart, my happy place.
The Commissioner of Domestic Taxes hereby advises all valid taxpayers that migration of tax data from SAP TRM into the new tax and revenue management system has been completed, and TOMS is now live. TOMS brings you access 6 additional functionalities apart from the 2 already rolled out modules with effect from the 5th of December 2023 as follows: Tax Return Management, Payment Management, Revenue Accounting, Taxpayer Accounting, Debt Management, and Refund Management. Submission of tax returns, payment of domestic taxes, debt management, refund processing, and accessing tax statements, among other functionalities, can now be done in TOMS with immediate effect. ZIMRA would like to appreciate all taxpayers, stakeholders, and the public for their cooperation and patience with the authority during this transition period. All taxpayers are encouraged to contact their nearest ZIMRA offices should they face challenges with TOMS, or get in touch with ZIMRA Contact Center on the details provided below. ZIMRA, my taxes, my duties, building my Zimbabwe.
A warm welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You are still watching the Sunday edition. It's now time for us to take a look at what's buzzing in the world of sport. Zimbabwe's women cricket team are through to the final qualification stage of the 2024 T20 World Cup after beating Uganda by 6 wickets at the Entebbe Cricket Oval this Sunday in the Africa qualifier.
And the two teams went into this Sunday's final, having already booked their place at the global qualifier, which will be hosted in Dubai next year. Africa's 2 finalists join 8 other teams for the global qualifier, which will determine which 2 teams will take on already qualified Australia, Bangladesh, England, India, New Zealand, Pakistan, South Africa, and the West Indies in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2024 in Bangladesh. However, African pride was at stake in the final, and Precious Marange played the role of the executioner again this Sunday, with their 5-wicket haul ripping Uganda apart at the Entebbe Cricket Oval. Marange, who has been consistently wreaking havoc in this year's ICC Women's T20 World Cup qualifier Africa, was the aggressive mastermind as the Lady Chevrons restricted Uganda to just 79 runs. Here, 5 wickets for 7 runs in 4 overs crippled Uganda to its knees as the worst failed to pose a significant threat to Zimbabwe's women's cricket team. The Lady Chevrons lost 4 wickets before reaching the target, and youngster Kelly Ndlovu kept it off in style, hitting a 6 for victory as Zimbabwe reached the target with 32 balls remaining. Back home at Harare Sports Club, there was no respite for the men's team, who conceded a 2-0 series defeat to Ireland this Sunday. Kerry Skemfer was the destroyer-in-chief for the visitors, claiming 4 wickets and scoring 40 runs to hand Ireland a 7-wicket victory over the Wasps. Sikandar Raza's men toiled on the field as their bag of tricks ran out after being bowled out for 197 runs, with only Joeled Gumbi, who scored his second half-century, and Raza contributing significantly with the debate. One could only hope for a touch of class with the ball as Brendan Mafuta, Blessing Muzarabani and Luke Jongwe picked a wicket apiece in an attempted rescue effort that could not stop a determined Ireland from clinching the victory. In the end, Ireland's dream tour of Zimbabwe was completed with 2 series conquests in the T20 and one-day international formats. Reynold Ngwarati, ZBC News, Harare.
The Confederation of African Volleyball Zone 6 Senior Indoor Club Championship came to a thrilling conclusion in Lesotho this Saturday, with Zimbabwean club Naba clinching silver.
As the K10 rolled down on the Confederation of African Volleyball CAVB Zone 6 Senior Indoor Club Championship, Zimbabwe walked away with a medal after Naba represented the country well in Maseru, Lesotho. The local volleyball club, Naba, successfully concluded their hunt in Maseru by clinching the second spot at the 2023 CAVB Zone 6 Senior Indoor Club Championship. Naba, who were part of the teams representing Zimbabwe, looked geared to a strong finish as they made it all the way to the final, where they faced Zambia's Green Buffaloes on the men's division. Naba showed character and the desire to win in the final, despite playing against defending champions who also denied UZ Wolves a slot in the final. The odds, however, did not support the ambitious side as they lost in the most agonizing of fashions, going down 3-2 in the hands of the defending champions, Green Buffaloes. Zimbabwe's champions, UZ Wolves, also had a good showing at the zonal games as they clinched the 4th spot, whilst the support unit finished 8th and Black Rhinos finished 11th. On the women's division, support unit could only manage to finish 9th, UZ Wolves clinched 11th spot, and CAT ranked 12th. 24 men and women volleyball teams from 10 countries converged in Maseru for the CAVB Zone 6 Club Championship 2023. Reynold Ngwarati, ZBC News, Harare.
A quick reminder, these and more stories are available on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw. We also have a WhatsApp channel, ZBC News Online.
Most people haven't really got the idea of the WhatsApp platform. Maybe if they could go through it, scroll down and Google for ZBC News Online. You'll find us there. Do follow our WhatsApp platform. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page. Many thanks to those who are taking time to take part in the comment section. We are also on X at ZBC News Online. Joyce, we're off to a break.
Of course, we're going to a break. We'll be back shortly with more news after this.
It's easy when you do it like this.
So fresh when you do it like that.
More fun when you do it like this. But even better when you use Aloha.
It's clean when you do it like this.
Looks good when you do it like that.
So much fun when you do it like this.
But even better when you use Aloha.
Make it fresh and fun with Aloha range of products.
Christmas is here in all Bon Marché stores. Get your Colgate Herbal Toothpaste 100 ml for only $1.40. 2 kg Omo Regular Washing Powder for only $5.40. 750 ml KWV Classic Chenin Blanc, Chardonnay, Shiraz Rosé, Sauvignon Blanc for only $9. 1.5 kgs of Crips Red Economy Apples for only $4.60. Christmas is here. Bon Marché. Simply good.
Welcome back. We head straight to our showbiz. Two Bulawayo teenage sisters, Tembelihle and Gabriela Mpofu, who are set to represent the country at the World Championship of Performing Arts competition next year, have been presented with mini studios in preparation for the contest. The World Championship of Performing Arts competition will be held on the 28th of June to the 7th of July next year in the United States of America.
The prestigious World Championship of Performing Arts competitions will be held in the United States of America, and it brings together singers, dancers, instrumentalists, actors, models, and variety artists from over 70 countries. The two for girls aged 13 and 14 who are set to fly the country's flag high next year at the World Championship of Performing Arts Copa were handed mini studios by the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Mthuli Ncube, during an engagement meeting with Country Park residents. With the late South African songstress Sahara being their role model, the ecstatic girls expressed their gratitude to the Minister of Finance through paying tribute to the music star. The mother of the two girls, Belinda Mpofu, expressed appreciation to government for taking an active role to nurture young talent.
Namusha, I'm very happy they finally got their studio. So far they've recorded their song, but it's not on the market yet. So Engle is a Puma very soon. So this is going to help them a lot to go career.
The Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Ncube, said government is committed to supporting young people as they are the country's future leaders.
Our youth are very, very artistic. So what I did was I sourced 3 mobile recording studios for music, and I handed those over.
Other young people who received mini studios include Thando Cele, Sibonginkosi Sibanda. The mini studios comprise of a computer, interface combo, studio monitors, microphones, headphones, a few cables, and pop filter. Lisa Masuku, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Catch them young, they say. Well, Man to Man, a hit song by Zim dancehall singer Freeman, retained pole position on this week's Power FM chart show.
Man to Man took the crown again this week. Other songs that maintained their spots on the show include Dali by Kamo Mpela, Kalyo Harrison and Taylor on position 7, Baba Menyeruke and Sun Gospel Warriors Muti Tungamire on position 13, and a collaborative act Mutaka by Freeman and Ferdinand on position 19. Ngilele a Hotel by Kilo Beats was second, relegating Sharp Popo by Makazi and Sungura star Alec Mapucheso to position 3. Loitawaya, a song by Jess Prosper on position 28, moved 12 places up the ladder from last week's position 14. Praiser and Shasha's Wandiboa was this week's biggest dropper, which moved 10 places down from position 27 to 37 this week.
The launch of Carmen's album as well as the Legends Dinner in Harare are among some of the highlights in the showbiz circles this week.
In Harare, The Reps Theatre was the place to be, where Carmen launched her album dubbed Listen. She proved she is a force to reckon as she mesmerized guests at the same event. The talented singer's duet with Derek Mpofu was also a major highlight. Baba Mechanic Manyeruke proved his mettle at the Legends Dinner held in Harare last Thursday. Another talented musician, Beu, also mesmerized guests at the same event. Elsewhere, Zimbabwean Queen Life Matunzeni could not make it in the top 22 at the just-ended Miss Intercontinental pageant held in Egypt.
Interpretation embodying the diversity of her homeland.
It's time to take a look at the way of the weather. Up next.
Good evening once again, Zimbabwe. My name is Baba Mageta with today's weather report and forecast. Thunderstorms that occurred yesterday resulted in precipitation in the tune of 40 millimeters and above being recorded in some places, and Kadoma recorded the highest with 75 millimeters, followed by Robert Gabriel International Airport with 60 millimeters. Buffalo Range recorded 59 millimeters, Masvingo 49 millimeters, and Gurwe recorded 46 millimeters in 24 hours. This system persisted into today, as we see in the cloud satellite picture taken earlier on today, where we had clouds over the eastern parts of the country as well as the southern parts of the country. And for the forecast tomorrow, we are expecting precipitation over the main watershed as well as the northern and southern parts of the country. However, this should be heavier along the central watershed. And for the temperatures in detail, we're expecting a rate of a maximum of 26 and a minimum of 18 degrees Celsius, Lower 28 and a minimum of 20, Gweru 27 and 17, Mutare 27 and 18, Kwekwe 29 and 19, while this Kadoma should have a maximum of 30 and a minimum of 15 degrees Celsius. Masvingo should also have a maximum of 29 and a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius, Chinoi 31 and a minimum of 19, Lupane 34 and 22, Bindura 30 and 22, Maruda 26 and a minimum of 15, Gwanda maximum 28 and a minimum of 21 degrees Celsius. And for the major holiday resort areas, we're expecting Victoria Falls to have isolated thundershowers later in the day with a maximum of 32 and a minimum of 20 degrees Celsius. Kariba 34 and a minimum of 23. Great Zimbabwe 29 and a minimum of 19. Nyanga 23 and 15. Matopos 29 and a minimum of 19. Chimanimani 27 with a minimum of 17 degrees Celsius. And for outlook, we are expecting the cloud system to have moved a little bit eastwards and therefore affecting the northeastern parts of the country, that is the northern parts of Manicaland, Mashalari Central, Mashalari West, as well as Harare Metropolitan Province, while the other parts of the country should be partly cloudy with slightest chances of isolated thunder showers later in the day. Thank you, Zimbabwe. That's all from the weather desk. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Many thanks to the Met Department there for giving us the way of the weather. Well, that's a wrap on the Sunday edition from Peaceway Jomunika on the Sign Language Desk. Mary Lingwenya, who joined us from our Montreux studios, for myself, Liam Bernard, and Joyce Mabika. We leave you watching the video of the week.
Well, this week, Zimbabwe lost one of our seasoned musicians, and that is Terry G. And as we remember his works, we leave you watching Ndezwe Moyo by Chipo Muchengwa and Terry G. Good night.
Good night.
Sports.
Hello and welcome to That Talk with Tariro. Indeed, like last week, we had Mai Patai on the show. These are festive season episodes. And we continue bringing you our Zimbabwean celebrities, Zimbabwean public figures. And on the show today, someone not new to television. Those of my age and above, you would know him from the popular sitcom Waiters, Marcelino Popular.
Popular, oh yeah.
That's Jason Pepo. Jason, welcome to the talk.
Thank you very much,
Should
Terry.
I say Marcelino, welcome to the talk?
No, Jason and Pepo is
Jason,
more, yeah.
But you are known as Marcelino. Jason, welcome to the talk. And what's up with the festive season?
Yeah, that Ashigam period they could broke. Yeah, exactly. In fact, January to name days akawandisa ngona swika now 74 days.
Kana 6 months.
January uchikwanga. So yeah.
So Jason, tell us, who's Jason Pepo?
Okay, wow, that's an interesting question. It depends with Jason and Pepo on which side and Jason and Pepo on what side. But without scandals, and
yes.
But anyway, yeah, Jason and Pepo is am I still a boy? I'm no longer a boy. A man, right? Yeah, but I feel like I look like a boy. But anyway, Jason and Pepo is a second born in a family of 5. Born of Edward Mpepo and Clara Mpepo. Both parents are late now. I grew up in